Get ready for an exciting journey as we uncover the 15 largest crocodiles on the planet. These magnificent creatures have captivated people's imaginations for centuries, and now you'll have the chance to get to know them like never before. Join us for an incredible experience. Number 15. Gustav. Oh, have you heard about Gustav? Let us tell you about this remarkable creature. Gustav is not just any Nile crocodile. Living in the beautiful landscapes of Burundi, Africa, he is an awe-inspiring presence, much larger than his brethren. Gustav, a male crocodile, has reached an estimated length of over 20 feet. To put it into perspective, that's longer than some cars. Weighing in at more than 2,000 pounds, he certainly stands out from the crowd. He is also notorious for being a man-eater, rumored to have taken the lives of as many as 200 people on the banks of the Ruzizi River and the northern shores of Lake Tanganyika, between which he roams. Gustav was bestowed his name by none other than Patrice Fay, a devoted herpetologist who has dedicated countless hours since the late 90s to studying this enigmatic reptile. You know what's fascinating about Gustav? He carries on him the markings of survival, 3 bullet scars on his body and a deep wound on his right shoulder blade. Quite the resilient one, isn't he? Interestingly, Gustav's size and weight seem to influence his food choices. Instead of chasing the usual nimble prey such as fish, antelopes, and zebras, Gustav is often seen targeting larger animals like hippopotamus and buffalo. Perhaps it's a demonstration of his strength, or maybe it's just easier for him to catch larger, slower-moving creatures. You may have seen Gustav's story featured in the enthralling documentary, Capturing the Killer Croc. Back in 2004, Patrice Fay and his team attempted to capture this legendary crocodile using a massive trap cage, all documented in the film. Unfortunately, Gustav's elusive nature prevailed and he managed to evade capture. Gustav is considered a true marvel of nature due to his estimated age. It's believed he might be between 60 and 70 years old, which is significantly longer than most Nile crocodiles that usually live up to 45 years in the wild. This truly is extraordinary. Gustav's legend lives on despite his absence since 2015. Where is he? What's he doing? Maybe he just got sick of Fay's obsession with him and moved on. Number 14. Bujang Sanang. Allow us to transport you to the mysterious and exotic world of Borneo, where the Batang Lupar River winds its serpentine way through Sarawak. This is where our intriguing protagonist, Bujang Sanang, carved out his infamous legacy. What's the deal with him? Well, Bujang Sanang was a massive crocodile, quite the celebrity in these parts. This formidable beast, stretching an incredible 20 feet, one of the largest crocs ever documented, was rumored to have a taste for human flesh. That's right, he was known to terrorize the locals, reportedly attacking and, well, eating people for an alarming span of about 30 years. Adding to his larger-than-life persona, Bujang was said to bear a distinctive white stripe down his back, a trait that made him immediately recognizable if one was unfortunate enough to cross paths with him. And mind you, this croc was quite the elusive character, often cunningly evading traps and dodging would-be hunters with ease. The legend of Bujang Sanang is intertwined with the local Iban culture, who believe that he was the reincarnated spirit of a mighty warrior named Simalungun, who met his end near the very river Bujang called home. His knack for human flesh marked the end for Bujang, as in 1992, a band of villagers and seasoned croc hunters joined forces to bring him down. The legend's skull and skin now find residence in a museum in Kuching, a grim reminder of his formidable presence. In a lighter vein, Bujang Sanang's influence seeped into various facets of Sarawak culture. Sarawak FA, a local football team, adopted the giant crocodile as their mascot and even incorporated his name into their battle cry. His tale has been immortalized in folklore, songs, books, and even movies, and just when you thought the story ended, whispers of a son of Bujang Sanang began to circulate. A young croc named Puteri Bujang Sanang, recognizable by his inherited white stripe, has reportedly been sighted since the demise of his infamous father. Number 13. Brutus. Weighing in at a hefty 2,000 pounds and stretching a remarkable 18 feet 4 inches from snout to tail, Brutus is a saltwater crocodile and is one of the largest ever recorded. Brutus's saga started in the wild expanse of the Northern Territory, but he wasn't destined to remain in obscurity. Captured and initially moved to a crocodile park in Darwin, it was upon his relocation to the Adelaide River that he truly found his calling. What's even more impressive is that Brutus performs all these acrobatic feats with just 3 limbs, having lost his right front leg in a fierce duel with a bull shark. But Brutus is not just about strength and spectacle. This old-timer, estimated to be well over 80 years old, has stories etched on his skin. Each scar, each wound, a testament to battles fought and won against rival Crocs, not least of which is Dominator, his long-standing competition. Despite his years, Brutus remains hale and hearty, a grand old survivor in the untamed heart of the Adelaide River. The Australian media love him, and he's a star of many documentaries. And speaking of quirks, did you know that Brutus once devoured an entire lawnmower left thoughtlessly near his Darwin enclosure? Or that he shot to international fame after catching and chowing down on a bull shark in plain sight of a boatload of flabbergasted tourists? So, there you have it. The story of Brutus, the Adelaide River's resident superstar, the champion leaper, the one-armed warrior, and the lawnmower-devouring, shark-eating legend. A crocodile certainly worth talking about. Number 12. Brutus. But Brutus isn't the only colossal beast in Australia's Adelaide River. Now we are talking about none other than Dominator, the gigantic saltwater crocodile. At an eye-popping length of 20 feet and tipping the scales at a whopping 1 metric ton, this croc is no joke. To put that into perspective, if you lined up the average human male end to end, you'd need at least 4 of them to match Dominator's staggering length. Rewind to 2009, this formidable croc was just another unwanted neighbor lurking in the waters. It took a brave team of crocodile specialists to capture Dominator and transport him to a wildlife park where he could be both safe and safely observed. Since then, Dominator has turned into a superstar. Tourists flock to Adelaide River, lured by the thrilling spectacle of this massive creature propelling his massive bulk out of the water to snag food from boat operators. But life isn't all sunbathing and chomping on snacks for Dominator. His rivalry with Brutus over territory and food is a constant soap opera, often culminating in toothy tussles and some impressive battle scars. This epic, prehistoric showdown between Dominator and Brutus has given rise to some unbelievable sightings over the years. One time, Dominator was spotted soaring out of the water, reaching almost as high as a tourist boat's canopy. In another instance, he was caught on camera treating himself to a juvenile croc snack right next to a boat on the Adelaide River. His legendary exploits have even served as inspiration for a horror movie, Rogue, in 2007. Number 11. Lolong. Back in September 2011, over in the Philippines, in a place called Bunawan, a 3-week manhunt, or should we say croc hunt, went down. Why? Well, Lolong here was suspected of some nasty business, attacking folks and even chomping down on 2 of them. This beast of a saltwater croc is known to be the largest living reptile species we've got on the planet. Just to give you an idea of how monstrous this guy was, he measured a whopping 20.24 feet and weighed a hefty 2,370 pounds. He even made it to the Guinness World Records in 2012. Now, why the name Lolong? He was named after a chap named Ernesto Lolong Conate, an old-school crocodile hunter who unfortunately kicked the bucket due to a stroke before Lolong could be captured. After his capture, Lolong wasn't just tossed aside. Nope, he was given a luxury suite, or rather, a specially constructed enclosure at the Bunawan Eco Park and Research Center. This turned out to be a fantastic move because Lolong was quite the celebrity. He drew in crowds like you wouldn't believe and boosted the local economy quite a bit. Lolong was a tough cookie with 66 teeth, though a few were broken or missing. He even sported a battle scar on his upper jaw, likely from a scrap with another croc. He also made it to the big screen, being featured on shows like National Geographic's Super Croc and Animal Planet's River Monsters. His story even inspired a children's book. His menu typically included freshwater fish, chicken, and pork. He was fed once a week, usually on Sundays, and would chow down on around 40 kilograms of food per feeding. Sadly, though, the big guy left us in February 2013 due to pneumonia and cardiac arrest at the age of almost 50 years. But Lolong's legacy lives on. His preserved remains are now a star attraction at the National Museum of Natural History in Manila. And guess what? A replica of his skeleton is also on display at the Philippine National Museum of Natural History. Number 10. Cassius. This time we are talking about Cassius, a dude of an Australian saltwater crocodile and an absolute tank at that. So, how big are we talking? Hold on to your hats, because Cassius holds the record for being the largest crocodile in captivity, according to our friends at Guinness World Records. Picture a colossal creature measuring 5.48 meters, and his weight? A solid 1,000 to 1,300 kilograms. Oh, and get this. Cassius is not just big, he's also ancient. Experts reckon he's over 110 years old. Cassius's life before his celeb status was a bit rough and rowdy. Back in 1984, he was nabbed for being a bit of a nuisance. Apparently, he developed a hobby of attacking boats in the Finniss River in Northern Territory. So, in 1987, he was moved to a more suitable home, the Marineland Melanesia Wildlife Park on Green Island in Queensland, Australia. Now, why the name Cassius? Well, he shares it with another heavyweight, none other than the great boxer Muhammad Ali, who was born Cassius Clay. Two champs sharing a name. Cool, huh? Cassius has had his fair share of rough and tumble in his long life. You can tell by looking at him, he's missing the tip of his snout, his left front leg, and even the tip of his tail, all lost in battles with other crocs. But hey, scars are just tattoos with better stories, right? Today, Cassius is living the good life as a star attraction on Green Island. Number 9. Maniac. So, are you ready for the next crocodile story? This one's a cracker. Meet Maniac, a male saltwater crocodile. He's one of the biggest crocs in the Western Hemisphere. We're talking about 16 feet and a weight of around 1,250 pounds. Maniac's story starts back in 1970 in Australia when he was born in captivity. Fast forward to 2004, he was relocated all the way to Reptile Gardens in South Dakota, USA. Are you wondering about his name? Well, he's named after Maniac McGee, a character from a kid's book by Jerry Spinelli. Maniac is quite a looker, too. He's got this massive head, a whole lot of big, sharp teeth, and his coloration is just stunning. He's also got these large, armored scales called scutes that run across his back. These days, Maniac is quite the celebrity at Reptile Gardens. He's a popular tourist attraction, and you can catch him either sunbathing or taking a swim in his enclosure. But it's not all been smooth sailing for Maniac. He's had a few adventures along the way. Back in 2010, a tipsy fella decided to break into Reptile Gardens and climbed into Maniac's enclosure. Apparently, he wanted to connect with Maniac spiritually by climbing on his back. Can you believe that? Unsurprisingly, Maniac didn't take too kindly to this and bit the guy's leg, which ended up needing surgery. In 2013, Maniac had his own shot at stardom. He was featured in a documentary called Crocodiles, the Ancient Predator, where they explored the evolution and behavior of crocodiles. Then, in 2019, Maniac celebrated his 49th birthday, and the best part, he had a cake made of meat and fish. Number 8, Puento Noire. This time, we're taking a detour to meet Puento Noire, a Nile crocodile. The Nile crocodile is the second largest living reptile species, only bested by the saltwater crocodile. These guys are not to be messed with. Our big guy, Puento Noire, had a bit of a rough end back in 2002 in a city that shares his name, Puento Noire, in the Republic of Congo. Poor fella had to be taken down in a safety operation because he was getting a bit too snappy, becoming a threat to local folks and their livestock. Puento Noire was quite the behemoth. We're talking about a length of 5.40 meters and a weight around 900 kilograms. That's almost 2,000 pounds if you can believe it. He was one of the largest Nile crocodiles ever measured. Now, Puento Noire wasn't just a big guy, he was also a bit of a warrior. He had this gnarly scar on his lower jaw. We're not sure who gave it to him. Could have been another croc, maybe even a hippo. And guess what? Puento Noire had his 15 minutes of fame. He was featured in a documentary called Super Croc that aired on National Geographic Channel in 2003. This show followed crocodile expert Brady Barr as he measured giant crocs around the globe, including our guy Puento Noire. Also, his name is a shout-out to the city where he met his end. In French, it means Black Bridge. He also had a jaw-dropping bite force, about 5,000 pounds per square inch, more than double the chomp of a lion or a tiger. And based on his size and condition, experts reckon he was around 60 years old when he died. That's a ripe old age in the crocodile world. Number 7, Gomek. Let us tell you about Gomek, a legendary croc with a really wild story. Seriously, this beast was one of the largest saltwater crocodiles. We're talking a massive 5.42 meters and weighing in at a whopping nearly 1,900 pounds. So here's how his story goes. This dude, George Craig, some sort of croc whisperer, we guess, snagged Gomek from Papua New Guinea way back in 1970. Fast forward 15 years, and along comes Terry and Arthur Jones, who decided they just had to buy him. Well, they kept this beast in Ocala, Florida for about 5 years before realizing that maybe, just maybe, their backyard wasn't the best place for a creature the size of a small truck. So in 1990, they sold him to the St. Augustine Alligator Farm Zoological Park. They named the croc Gomek after a character from a children's book by Jerry Spinelli. And you know what's crazy about Gomek? This big guy loved tossing around nutrias, you know, those large aquatic rodents. And even more surprising, he was unusually chill with people. The people who fed him were allowed to get right up close, like just 1 meter away without him getting snappy. But every legend has its end, right? Gomek passed away from heart disease on March 6, 1997, hitting a grand age of 70. Back in 1989, he was featured in the documentary The Alligator Man, the story of George Craig. It's all about his capture and relocation to Florida. And then in 1993, he starred in another documentary, Crocodile the Smiling Predator, which delves into the evolution and behavior of these awesome creatures. There's even a book about him, Gomek, a giant crocodile penned by his former owner, Terry Jones, in 1997. Number 6, Akko. Next up is Akko, a saltwater crocodile. This whole Akko adventure started with none other than the iconic crocodile hunter himself, Steve Irwin. Took Steve and his crew 2 years to nab this huge croc. Yeah, 2 years. They had to get him out of a spot where the landowner was just a tad too trigger-happy for poor Akko's safety. So just how big is Akko, you ask? Try on 16 feet and a scale tipping 2,200 pounds. And guess what? He's the biggest croc at Australia Zoo, hanging out with his lady friend Cassie. But here's the real kicker. Akko's got brains to match his brawn. The dude's sharp as a tack and can recognize different humans and their habits. And let us tell you, you don't want to mess with him. He's a bit of a homebody, super territorial, and can get pretty testy, especially when love is in the air during the breeding season. Now, Akko's a bit of a celeb, actually. He's been in a few documentaries and TV shows like The Crocodile Hunter and Crikey, It's the Irwins. Plus, on Steve Irwin's 54th birthday in 2015, Steve's original croc team even fed him as a tribute to the late, great crocodile hunter. Also, what's with his name? Well, Steve Irwin apparently had a thing for a brand of stationery products called Akko, and then there's his jaw-dropping bite force, which is a whopping 3,700 pounds per square inch. That's stronger than any other animal on Earth. And last but not least, this guy can hold his breath underwater for up to an hour. So that's Akko, one massive, smart, and super tough crocodile. Remember, in Akko's world, it's all about the survival of the biggest. Number 5, Kalia. How about we bring the absolute unit of a crocodile named Kalia into the spotlight now? This massive fella made the saltwater crocs proud by being one of the largest of his kind. We mean these guys are already the top dogs, or should we say top crocs, in the reptile world. And our buddy Kalia here was no exception, so this behemoth, right? He used to chill in this place called Bitarkanika National Park. And Kalia had a bit of a, well, reputation. This guy was the terror of the town for almost half a century, can you believe it? He developed a notorious taste for humans. But sadly, Kalia's reign of terror came to an end in 1926. You won't believe this, but a famous hunter, a prince no less named Rajendra Narayan Banjadeo of Kanila, finally took him down. It all went down near the Damara River. Now, the legend of Kalia doesn't just end with his fierce reputation. Rumor has it that this big guy measured a jaw-dropping 23 feet long and weighed in at a whopping 4,400 pounds. If these numbers are true, that makes Kalia the biggest crocodile ever recorded in history. However, keep in mind these claims haven't been officially rubber-stamped by the Guinness World Records or any other trusted sources. And as if Kalia wasn't already an intriguing character, he was also known as the Dark One. That's because of his distinct dark color and, of course, his rather sinister rep in the region. Number 4, Tripod. Oh, let us tell you about Tripod, the mighty crocodile who's been causing a splash in the animal kingdom. Tripod is a true heavyweight in the croc world, measuring a massive 17 feet long. That's over 5 meters. And get this, he weighs in at a mind-boggling 1 ton. Now, how did Tripod come into the spotlight, you ask? Well, it all started in the Northern Territory of Australia, when wildlife expert and TV host Matt Wright managed to capture this colossal creature. Matt relocated Tripod to a private property near Darwin, where he now enjoys the luxuries of a spacious enclosure and some crocodile buddies to keep him company. Now you might be wondering why they call him Tripod. Well, brace yourself for this. Tripod has only 3 legs. Yep, he got into a fierce scuffle with another croc and lost his left front leg in the tussle. But hey, he hasn't let that slow him down one bit. In fact, Tripod has become quite the superstar. He's a popular tourist attraction, drawing in visitors from far and wide who come to witness the power and majesty of this incredible creature. This croc has even celebrated his 60th birthday birthday in style. Back in 2016, there was a viral video on Facebook that had millions of people going wild. It featured Tripod devouring a whole pig leg in just seconds. And in 2017, Tripod was at it again, this time on YouTube. He engaged in a fierce showdown with another croc named Stumpy over some tasty treats. The clash showcased Tripod's strength and aggression, leaving viewers in awe of his power. And as if that wasn't enough, in 2018, Tripod became the star of his very own documentary called Crocodiles, the Ancient Predator.
There you go. Listen to those bones crunch.
Number 3. Uton. All right, time to take a little trip down memory lane and revisit the story of the legend himself, Uton. This colossal croc was first discovered at the Samut Prakan crocodile farm, which is just about 12 miles away from the bustling city of Bangkok, Thailand. Now, fast forward to June 27, 2002, when Uton decided to pack his bags and head to the States. He became the star of the show at Alligator Adventure, one of the world's largest reptilian facilities. Now, what makes Uton extra special is his lineage. He's not just any ordinary croc, but a hybrid. His parents are none other than a saltwater crocodile and a Siamese crocodile, both of which are giants in the reptile world. It's like having LeBron James and Serena Williams as parents. He was born in 1964, which makes him a strapping 59-year-old in 2023. This guy tips the scales at a whopping 2,000 pounds, stretches over 18 feet in length, and packs a punch with an estimated force of 5,000 pounds per square inch. Uton also sports a unique scar on his snout, giving him that extra character and charm. It's like his personal badge of honor. Uton was named after the farm owner's son, Uton Young Prapakarn. Over time, he's earned some pretty cool titles like the Ambassador of Thailand and the King of Crocs. And Uton's crib? Oh, it's a whopping 30,000-gallon freshwater pool. Today, he's still chilling at Alligator Adventure, wowing visitors with his sheer size and strength. Number 2, Papa Dave. Now we have massive croc named Papa Dave, a saltwater crocodile. So picture this. It's a regular afternoon on October 14, 2020, around 1 p.m. to be exact. The place? Taytay Beach in Simanul, a little town in Tawi-Tawi, Philippines. Out of the blue, local fisherfolk spot something huge lurking in the waters. 2 hours later, they reel in this gigantic creature that turns out to be none other than Papa Dave. Initially, the locals dubbed him Mama Bull, but Papa Dave soon became his official title, named after the first person who spotted him. He measures a whopping 17 feet 11 inches. This big guy boasts a hefty head, intimidating jaws, and rugged skin sporting dark green or brown hues. Papa Dave's journey is quite a maritime mystery. Rumor has it, he originated near Sabah, Malaysia, hitched a ride with the sea currents, and ended up in Tawi-Tawi. He was captured by fisherfolk who initially thought Papa Dave might make a fine companion for another giant croc they'd nabbed a few years earlier, Papa Bull. But sadly, the experts from Crocodiles Porosus Philippines Inc. confirmed that Papa Dave was indeed male, owing to his mammoth size. These days, you'll find Papa Dave chilling in Papa Bull's Park, within the Simanul Municipal Hall compound, under the care of the Simanul Municipal Government. Sharing his new digs with Papa Bull, he's got a comfy 2,000 to 3,000 square meters of swampy, muddy space dotted with mature mangroves. Papa Dave is just 1 inch shorter than the largest crocodile in captivity, Cassius, who's 18 feet long and resides in Australia. Saltwater crocs like Papa Dave can live up to a century in captivity, swim at a speed of 15 miles per hour, and run on land as fast as 11 miles per hour. Isn't that something? Number 1, Chris. Get ready to meet a real-life colossal croc story from down under. Back in 1957, in a place called MacArthur Bank near the Norman River in Queensland, Australia, the legendary Chris, the biggest saltwater crocodile ever, was caught. This bad boy stretched an incredible 8.6 meters. The hunter who bagged this monster was a one-of-a-kind woman named Krystyna Pawlowski. A Polish immigrant, Krystyna and her husband Ron were known around these parts as the ultimate crocodile hunting duo. In honor of her epic catch, the massive croc was nicknamed Chris. But Krystyna later regretted putting down Chris. The gigantic croc was so enormous it couldn't be moved and was too old to be useful for its skin. After this, she swapped her rifle for a cause and became a conservationist, running a crocodile park with Ron back in Queensland. As for Chris, he is rumored to have weighed in at a hefty 2,000 kilograms, and he was so large, he could have swallowed a human whole or bitten off a limb with one powerful snap. Given that salties can live up to 70 years and keep growing their entire lives, Chris was probably over a century old when he was taken down. Sadly, crocodile hunting took a toll on Australia's salty population, wiping out nearly 95 of it between 1945 and 1970. So Chris, in a way, was one of the last of his kind, a legendary creature from an era gone by. Which of these crocodiles blew your mind? Let us know in the comments. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.